Greetings and welcome to this episode of Conversations about Meditation. Today, I'm excited to introduce one of my pips, and I call people that meditate with me partners in practice. And so, Helen is a consistent pip. I'm excited to talk to Helen about meditation. So, welcome, Helen. Helen is a master Reiki practitioner. She is also a spiritual coach. She lives in Wappingers Falls, New York, and she also has an Etsy line. So we're going to delve into all of that a little bit. So welcome, Helen.
Hi, how are you? It's so good to finally get together,
I
Barbara.
know. I'm excited. I'm excited. So
Me
now how did
too,
we
me
meet?
too.
Did you find me on Insight Timer or how did we
Yes,
connect? Through Circle of
yes, I
Women or
did.
Insight Timer?
I'll tell you the story. I got an iWatch a while ago, and with the iWatch, it they gave me the option to have the In Touch Timer as an app, and I had never heard of that app, even though I had meditated before. And I said, "Gee, this is cool. Let me check it out." And sure enough, I started looking into it, and I like In Touch Timer because of the fact that whatever your issue is, you can filter how long, and even the master, etc., that you might do the meditating with, or the sleep music, or what have you. And one day I saw that you were coming on live, and I love everyone, but I also like diversity. I just
Yeah.
have to put that out there.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what? There was something about your face I liked. I said, I want to try her out. And sure enough, I became a believer.
Now, wait. Now
I was
you make
like,
it
I
sound
love
like
this
I'm
woman.
creating something for you to believe in.
I said, I love this woman. How down to earth is she? And I'm very much like that too.
Yeah.
And I like your format, and you've said it yourself. You don't take yourself too seriously. And I don't think we can still practice,
Mhm.
but still have a lightness and a happiness and a joyfulness about us. And that's what you did. That's how you inspired me. So yes,
Aw,
I
thank you.
met you. I met you through there, and you mentioned your other platform, and I ended up following you.
Yep.
Yep.
And you're with us on Slice of Silence meditation just about every
Hmm.
day, if not every
Well,
day.
not as
So, yeah.
often as I
Yeah.
should.
No shooting, no shooting, no shooting. You're there when you're supposed to be there. So that's what
Yes, that
counts.
is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Hmm.
tell me a little bit about how you got into meditation and when it became a steady
Oh,
practice for
let
you.
me think. Well, once I retired, which is a good 10 years ago, I decided that was the time. That's when I had the time to
Hmm.
hone my creativity and delve into different things. That being a spiritual person, I was still spiritual during that time and practicing certain spiritual modalities. But once I was retired, I knew that I had time to delve further.
Yeah.
And I got into yoga,
Hmm.
and getting into yoga, the type of yoga that I practiced was Dan yoga, a Korean form of yoga.
Mm.
And we used to meditate, and we used to do Qigong and all
Okay.
that good stuff, right? And well, through that, I got very much more interested in the yoga. Then when I moved up here from the city, I've been in the Hudson Valley now going on 7 years. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, the dogs are
No
going off.
worries. Helen
Um,
Helen has lovely, lovely
ugh,
lovely fur
yes,
family
my
that takes
fur
care of us
babies.
too.
When I
No
moved up
worries.
here to the Hudson Valley, it seemed like it was more amenable to these things. So besides getting into the herbalism, shamanism, etc., I got more into the yoga and the meditating. So by the time before I found you, I had actually found the meditation master online, and she was we were practicing a transcendental yoga where
Mm,
we would use mantras, and we would
yeah.
repeat certain mantras. We had to remember not only mantras but Vedas, etc.
Hmm.
And it was very deep. And it was 20 minutes, twice a day. And I did it. I did it for like 3 months, but it got to be a little too rigid
Mm,
and too, just like organized religion may be too rigid for some people.
hmm.
I felt that that organization and that type of discipline was too much for me.
Gotcha.
So then when I happened upon you and some of the other people on Inside Timer, I realized that I could tailor my meditating to certain points during the day, and that I didn't have to sit there for this amount of time.
Hmm.
And being free-minded, I like the freedom of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at now with my meditating.
Yeah. And I think
Hmm.
the beautiful thing is that we all have the power of choice.
Right.
We can choose to do that, and that's great for people that choose to do that, because as you know, I'll throw in some Vedic chants, and then I'll throw in some
Yes,
qigong, and
yes.
because that's just for me. I like the variety. I
Right.
may not want to go study it into depth, but I like hearing,
Yes.
I like using the tone om, and I like using the chakra tone
Yes. Yes.
and that type of thing. And it just feels good. And so that's my style. And I
Hmm.
go by what I'm led to do. Because as you know, you meditate
Exactly.
with me enough to know I don't know what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna say. I'm just like, what's the card? Okay, this is
You
what comes
just
up. Yeah,
you
just
just
kind of
let
go with the
spirit
flow. Yeah,
you
to go
just
with the
let
flow of
spirit
it all.
dictate, and I like that. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. So let me ask you this, Helen.
Yes.
So you do that, and then I saw in the bio you sent me, because I did not know this, that you're a
Mm,
contemporary artist.
I
So you've
am.
been holding out on us and not showing us pictures.
Well, 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 that's another thing. Honestly, once I moved up here, as I said, once I retired, I decided to hone, my creative nature. Being a Libra, we are very
Mhm.
creative. Us children of Venus are very creative,
Yeah.
and that's not to say others aren't, but I actually took private instruction with a well-known artist up here in Hudson Valley for about 2 years with her.
Mhm.
We had a falling out, um, you know, for just,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't like being ruled. I'm an
Yeah.
adult. I'm an adult, and it
Yep.
got to the point where, okay, thank you, and I'm
Yeah.
not paying you for this anymore, and that's it. I
Right.
kept
I don't,
going.
because I don't have to.
I don't have to. That's just it.
Yeah.
So I mean, art is a very fluid thing. You can pick up a
Yeah.
canvas and you can just throw some paint on there. Can't No one can tell you that that's not art.
Yeah.
No
True.
one can tell you that. So
Hmm.
I consider myself a contemporary artist. I have I have shown art recently. We up in Beacon, New York, which is maybe
Hmm.
like half hour from me. Beacon,
Hmm.
New York is a very diverse, small city on the Hudson, and that's like our little mecca of art here, and that's where I had my instruction. Well, there's a cultural center
Hmm.
that I go to sometimes, and I've had a couple of art shows there, group art shows with other
Okay.
people. I've
Hmm.
been in a Hispanic art show. I've been in a Friends art show. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, and it's
It's
whatever,
another extension of our
whatever.
creativity. Yeah.
It's another extension of your creativity. I
Hmm.
mean, I keep saying I gotta pick up the brushes. I haven't painted in a while because
Hmm.
I start doing something else,
Yeah.
Barbara. That's just the way
I,
I am,
and it's good to own that, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so you own
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but it's another outlet. It's
Yeah.
another it's another therapeutic way of channeling your inner self.
Hmm.
That's how I
Hmm.
like to think about my art.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even moving into the fact that I did not know you had an Etsy page where you had, I love
I
these
don't
interviews because I get to delve deep and find out about the people I meditate with on a regular basis.
I
So
don't like,
tell
you know
us,
what?
tell us
I don't
about
market.
that.
I don't market stuff. It's funny because I used to when I first moved up here. I had a big banner made and I used to go to
Yeah.
these little fairs, and I'd sell my products. You know what? right now, if you see me and you like something and you want to order a job, the muscle rub or the bug be gone or whatever, you know where to find me. That's how I feel.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I'm not a pusher.
yeah. I
I don't want to
understand.
be a pusher, you know.
Yeah,
No.
I understand. Well,
Yeah.
tell me, did anything change about your meditation practice over the last year and a half since
Yes.
we've been um,
Yes.
in
Yes.
confinement?
Oh
Tell me
yeah,
about that.
yeah, definitely. I have to tell you that you were a big help. Your practice was a big help to me because you not only in touch and your platform, Slice of Silence, not only gave me the chance to meditate on certain days or what have you, but also you gave me a sense of community
Hmm.
when when you invite us to join you Saturday, Sunday, and the Wednesday night Zoom, when you're able to sit there with like-minded people and meditate, that, I mean, that meant a lot to me. Not only that, through that group, even though you're based in Atlanta, I've met some lovely people
Yeah.
from your home, but I also met a couple of women that live like maybe 20 miles from me.
I
I
know.
actually
That's the
saw one of
beautiful
them one
thing.
day, and another day another one came and brought me a book, and I gave her one of my sage sprays. So
Yeah.
we had that little, even in the middle of the pandemic, we were able to actually um commune. We were able to get together and share our feelings. And again, that was also an outlet. It was an outlet for me, and I know it was an outlet for them.
Yeah.
So I'm really appreciative of that. And yes, it did amp up my meditating, because I wasn't really meditating too much before the pandemic.
Hmm.
I was doing my own thing, but like many people at the very beginning of the lockdown, anxiety was rearing its ugly head. I was scared. I was alone, even though I have family nearby, but I live alone, etc., etc. I had just moved into a new house. I moved into this house March 13th
Oh,
of
wow.
2020.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I met my neighbors literally because I would walk my dogs, and that's how I met people. And
Yeah.
I'm the one that I'm like, hi, how are you? My name is,
Hmm.
because you have to meet people. You can't live in a bubble.
True.
So if it wasn't for walking my dogs and getting out there and for your meditation, I don't know what I would do, because it was very scary, those first, especially the first few months.
Hmm.
So the fact that I found you because God led me, spirit led me,
Yeah.
because I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, that helped me. That was one of the pieces that helped keep me whole during the pandemic and helped to keep me grounded. I
Mhm.
really believe that.
Well, that's beautiful. And the beautiful thing is, and I remind myself often, is that
Mm.
spirit can lead us, but we have to act on what we hear.
You
You
have to,
you have to
yes,
act on it because
yes,
spirit's talking to us all day long, and you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
yes,
that. So I'm glad you acted on
yes.
it. And
You
so
have to
now,
act on it.
yeah, now you have a whole new community of people that
Exactly.
you are connected
Exactly.
with. And so that's
Yes,
a beautiful thing.
it
So,
is.
what has been a surprising part of just the whole meditation practice for you? Is there anything that's been surprising for you?
Let me see. Just yeah, because sometimes I'll get into something with much passion and excitement, and then I let it go. And I know that about myself. But
Mhm.
this is something that I'm surprised that, even though you might not see me for a few days,
Mhm.
but I pop back in. I pop back in. It's not something that I've like I've shoved away as I do
Mhm.
other things. So
Mm.
that is surprising to me.
Okay.
Surprising in a sense that I've kept on doing it steadily.
Mhm.
Okay, I haven't tired of it. And then again, I shouldn't be surprised because it's such a easy flowing practice that you offer us. So,
Glad to
maybe it's
hear
not
that.
surprising at all. I don't know.
Okay. So, what would you say to people that are interested in meditating? What would
Oh,
you
wow.
recommend for them to get started if they're interested?
I would say to people that, and I'm going to go deep now because something that I don't share often, I've struggled with anxiety, okay?
Mhm.
Anxiety, fears, etc.
Mhm.
And during the time of the pandemic, that was a hard time for those of us that dealt with
Yeah.
anxiety and or depression, because a lot of times those two things work
Yeah.
together.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I would say that meditation is very good. It's a very good tool to help with anxiety. I
Mhm.
have found myself early on, those first couple of months where I would, in the beginning, you'd run to a supermarket and then next thing you know, you had a cold for a couple of days.
Mhm. Mhm.
I started to feel the anxiety trying to take over, and
Mhm.
I would go into my deep breathing.
Mm.
I would go into my slice of silence.
Mhm.
So I would tell people that, if they have that sort of ailment, syndrome, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
try meditation. Try meditation because a lot of the tools that we learn, those of us that have anxiety, a lot of the tools that we learn encompass, one of them especially is the breathing through things,
Yeah.
the counting 1 to 10 while you breathe.
Mhm.
A lot of times you'll tell us look around, and there's tools when you have
Yeah.
anxiety. Look around, see what you hear, listen to what you hear,
Mhm.
look to see, taste the taste in your mouth.
Mhm.
You go through that sometimes while you're
Mhm.
leading us through meditation.
Yeah.
All those things help when you deal with these sort of mind-based
Mhm.
issues. So that's one thing I would recommend to people if they're going through similar issues. Another thing is that even if you're not going through these type of issues, even if you think your life is wonderful, sometimes we just need to take a moment
Yes.
and breathe. Stop. A cliche, smell the roses.
Yeah.
Stop and just relax and learn to go within, because it's not all about what's outward. We have to search within and take time to reflect.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's something that I think is very helpful in terms of getting into a meditation practice. It's very grounding. That's
Wonderful.
that's what I would say.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Is
You're
there anything else you
welcome.
want to share with the people?
Um no, just that I love you, Barbara, and I
Oh, I love
thank
you,
you.
Helen.
You're an awesome person. I wrote about you, as a matter of fact. No, I wrote a little thing, and during the pandemic, I also took a 3 month. It started as a 6 month memoir writing course,
I remember that.
right? It turned into 3 months, and they told every week she'd give us a prompt that we had to
Mhm.
write about. Now, I had never written in my life, but I ended up writing, and one of the prompts was to write about someone that I think that inspired you or something like that. I wrote about you.
Oh, thank
And I
you.
shared it with Violet. I didn't tell her, I didn't let her read it. But I said, "Oh, I wrote about Barbara." She says, "Oh, well, you should put it on the platform." But I never did, because it was just a few paragraphs about you. But maybe one day I'll share it with you.
Well, I appreciate you letting
Just
me know because
because
it's
you've inspired me, you've inspired me to keep meditating. So
good.
that's a good thing.
Well,
That's
thank
that's
you.
that's a good way to live your life.
Thank you. And my mission is to use my voice to heal, educate, and
Yes,
inspire. So thank you for letting me know that what I offer is something that inspires you. And thank you for your
definitely.
time and being a pip. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
You're
So
welcome. And
we're
God
going to
bless you.
God bless you. We're going to conclude this episode. And if you are interested in sitting here like Helen has done today and you meditate, please feel free to email me directly at barbarafaisonllc@gmail, or you can hit something in one of those links that are below because there are tons of links below. And just let me know because I would love to be in conversation with you. And remember that it starts with you, it starts with me. One breath, one thought, one deed. Thank you so much for listening. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the usual stuff. Be well. Okay.
What happened?